The United States has always been very creative when it comes to utilizing our resources. One of them has always been the oil field. We've been successful in drilling oil, pumping natural gas with the use of CO2 compression, and with the use of the old school pumping rigs. A new development into this industry is offshore drilling. Offshore drilling has become quite popular, but it also has been met with a lot of resistance from several different organizations. However, it is time to expand our horizons and begin to utilize resources even if they are, to some degree, outside of our comfort zone. So to get started, we will start off with exactly what is offshore drilling. Offshore drilling is where a rig is set up on a platform in a body of water, and a well bore is drilled into the seabed in search of oil reserves underneath the soil. Okay, this has been met with numerous complaints and a lot of resistance from environmental factors, especially. A few statistics, though, to ease your mind into this concept. 30% of total domestic oil production and 13% of natural gas production come from the Gulf of Mexico. That's just a little highlight on how important offshore drilling has become to our country and to other countries as well, as far as the give and flow of this industry. On an environmental level, ever since the big BP spill in the Gulf of Mexico a few years ago, environmentalists have been up in arms about offshore drilling. Now, granted, it was a very disastrous event, and it did affect the environment. But if you consider it, we're drilling for oil underneath the sand of these large bodies of water. That oil has to come up eventually. It seeps through the sea's crust every day, in small amounts, in large amounts. So really, it was a matter of time before something like this happened. It just happened to occur underneath an offshore drilling rig. Oil is going to be in the water regardless. It is buried underneath every inch of this planet, under every body of water. So completely eliminating it from getting into the ocean is very difficult, and it's quite an impossible task to complete. But I do understand the environmental risks at hand. However, you're going to have these risks regardless of what you do, whether it's drilling on land, whether it's drilling in the ocean, whether it's producing a certain chemical in a plant, whether it's everyday production of your plastic bottle. You're going to have environmental factors, but it's a matter of weighing out the pros and cons. Is the gain greater than the environmental effect on it? Offshore drilling has become vital to the energy security and support of our country. With the use of offshore drilling, we ourselves can generate oil production in our own country. This takes away relying on foreign countries for oil production. It takes away negotiating contracts and negotiating deals with other countries based on oil production. For so many years, we've worked overseas, moving this oil back and forth between us. With the ability to create oil production in our own country, we cut out the middleman, and we were able to eliminate so many negotiations and deals with other countries in this aspect. Job generating is a huge aspect of this. With the more offshore drilling we do, the more job it opens up. Jobs start at the office, where they have to open up a new division specifically for offshore drilling, which gives engineers, scientists, environmentalists jobs. Then you get to the manual labor portion, where they're employing welders, they're employing roughnecks, they're employing mechanics, you name it. They're generating thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs, which in turn will help our economy. Also, with this offshore drilling, it's for sure going to drive down oil prices and drive down gas prices. This is a great benefit for the American society. Everybody wants to see lower prices in these areas, because the more we pay for overseas oil that we're getting from foreign countries and that we're having to negotiate for, is naturally going to cost the U.S. more to sell than what we normally would if we were producing it in our own country, specifically for that reason. I believe that offshore drilling is a good thing, that it is something that we should definitely strive to become very good at, and we should utilize it to its fullest extent. I believe it would boost the economy astronomically, it would generate jobs, and it would help lower prices in our own country, so we're not um, dealing with fees and negotiations and all these other middleman aspects of the oil industry. So I believe that it is something that we just really need to push for, because in the long run, the gain is definitely going to be greater than